We're talking about capital markets development now. I'm being joined on the program by the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Mr. Oscar Onyema. Good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the performance of capital markets in sub-Saharan Africa this year. How would you assess it?
The sub-Saharan African markets have been challenged as a group, as you know, due to commodity price shocks and the fact that most of our economies are monoline economies, so they're tied to commodities. So that has reduced the rate of growth for the entire sub-region, but they continue to grow. We're not here in the big R world yet.
Well, the Nigerian Stock Exchange is set to host the fifth edition of the Building African Financial Markets Seminar. It comes up this week. This is the first time Nigeria is hosting it. Let's start with why Nigeria was selected.
Well, the Building African Financial Markets Seminar is a seminar that has run for, like you noted, about 5 years. It is a seminar that is sponsored by the African Securities Exchanges Association to build capacity in financial markets across the entire African continent. We felt that in order to bring that seminar closer to the continent, that perhaps we should begin to rotate the location for having the seminar. The last 4 times we've had the seminar, we had in Johannesburg in South Africa. And for the first time, it's going to be held outside of South Africa in Nigeria. This is to bring it closer to the West African region, North Africa, and Middle East, and the Eastern region of Africa. And I'm sure that the next one will also be rotated outside of Nigeria to somewhere else within Africa, so that we can have the entire continent really building capacity and getting the seminars as close as possible to all the various financial market players.
Well, this seminar comes at a very trying time for most African countries, particularly those who are very heavily affected by the drop in oil price. What is the focus of this year's seminar?
Well, the focus of this year's seminar is really driving liquidity in the equities markets from a market structure perspective, from a transaction cost analysis perspective, from a reporting perspective. Also looking at new products that can drive depth and breadth in our capital markets. So derivatives, case studies on how derivatives have been rolled out in other clients, especially in South Africa, which is very experienced in this space. So we're bringing in a professor from University of Johannesburg. We're also bringing in the head of the Central Counterparty Clearinghouse in South Africa, and people from the World Federation of Exchanges. We'll be talking also about securities lending and how it can drive liquidity. We'll be talking about information security. As you know, information security has become a major threat for the financial systems as globally, as hackers compromise the systems of exchanges, banks, and other financial institutions around the world. So this seminar is really designed to address topical issues that are trending in the financial markets of Africa, and to address it in such a way that we can go into in-depth analysis of these trends and begin to position the players in the marketplace on how to respond and how to take advantage to drive more liquidity in the various markets. As you know, Africa has 26 exchanges that are members of the African Securities Exchanges Association. And this seminar is designed not just for the exchanges, but for the entire ecosystem and for potential users of derivatives, so the banking system, the pension system, the industries, such as oil and gas, for example, that would need to hedge exposure in currency or hedge exposure in equity or in fixed income or any other underlying asset class.
Will there be talks about how these equity market structures can be strengthened in Africa to address low liquidity?
Can you say that again?
Will there be talks about how this capital market structures in Africa can be strengthened to boost low liquidity in the markets?
Correct. There will be significant discussions in market microstructure to talk about how you can use things like market making and the various market making designs to drive tighter spreads in the marketplace and to drive liquidity in the marketplace.
So there seems to be a lot of collaborations between exchanges in Africa. What should investors really be expecting from the African Securities Exchange Association?
Really, the association is trying to drive minimum standards, if you will, across the continent. We're trying to drive linkages between the various markets to really pull liquidity together as one big marketplace and to make ourselves more attractive to investors that are looking to have exposure to Africa. So it's really, if you look at the individual market capitalizations and the depth in each marketplace, it may not be a compelling story, but when you add it together, you see that it has enough gravitational pull to attract liquidity. And so if we can link together, if we can have similar standards from a trading perspective, from a listing perspective, from products perspective, then it makes it more attractive for investors that are looking to access Africa, and it makes it better for our individual markets. And so really you should see the African Securities Exchanges Association working to do more in the space, in the area of linkage. You should see us doing more in the area of sensitization with regards to policymakers in the continent. We have significant collaboration with the African Development Bank, with the African Union, and with individual policy makers around the continent. The whole idea being to really reposition capital markets to take their rightful position in driving economic growth in partnership with the banking sector and other sectors in the financial system.
What about in the area of cross-border market integration?
Correct. So as you know, the various sub-regions in Africa are already working on cross-border integration. And so what ASEA is doing above and beyond that is to really link the key hubs on the continent. So Lagos, Johannesburg, Nairobi, and Casablanca, to do a pilot program, if you will, in terms of linking all these markets and getting trades happening across boundaries. And then when this is accomplished, extending it to the rest of the markets on the continent in concentric circles. We're doing this in partnership with the Africa Development Bank, and there's been significant progress, but we are not at the point yet where you can see trades happening. But on the West African side of the story, under the West African capital market integration effort, we've already seen about 7 trades done between Ghana and Nigeria. And that is to be extended to the rest of West Africa. So the Ivory Coast markets and the markets in the French-speaking geography will also participate under the West African capital market integration effort. So all of this is really designed to integrate the African markets, which is really in support of the various sub-regional efforts at the national level and at the continental level in support of what the African Union is trying to accomplish.
Well, so the seminar comes up this week. Which days particularly?
So the seminar comes up 28th and 29th of April, so in a couple of days. It will be primarily hosted here at the Stock Exchange building near on Custom Street, Marina. And it will be, it is designed in such a way that there are a number of other activities around the seminar to give an experience that is very pleasant to the participants. And people can register if they haven't done so already, either through our website, which is www.nsc.com.ng. There's a session there right on the landing page where you can register, or we would also accept call-ins through the NSE contact center.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Oyema, for sharing that with us and, of course, giving us more perspectives, whetting our appetite as it is for what's coming up with regards the Building African Financial Markets Seminar.
Thank you very much.
Oscar Oyema is the Chief Executive at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, telling us more on what's going to be happening or what to expect at the Building African Financial Markets Seminar. The Nigerian Stock Exchange will be hosting for the first time in 5 years since it started. We'll be hosting this seminar at the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Custom Street. So if you want to, you can go to their website and register for it. It promises to be an interesting one, especially since you're looking at strengthening the markets, especially with low liquidity being recorded across most of the 26 exchanges in sub-Saharan Africa. Business Morning continues in just a moment. Stay with us.